When an if statement is true, normally the block of code right after the if statement will be evaluated. And if it's not true, nothing happens. But with an else statement, an alternate block of code can be executed when it's not true. So this is a perfect use case. If value is more than 5, the result is bigger than 5. If the value is less than or equal to 5, the result is 5 or smaller. We can do this with an else statement. So I'm just going to type in else here, and then we can just delete this whole if statement just like that. And now we have if the value is less than 5, the result is going to be bigger than 5. Else, if it's not more than 5, we'll return 5 or smaller. If you have multiple conditions that need to be addressed, you can use else if statements. It's a way of chaining if statements together. In this example, we have three conditions. If value is more than 10, we're going to return greater than 10. If it's less than 5, return smaller than 5, or else we're going to return 5 and up. So this is a perfect use case for an else if statement. So this is how we do it. We'll do else, and then we're going to add the if statement at the end of the else. I'm just going to delete all this stuff. So else if value is less than 5, and then we're going to have one final else statement. Else, and I'm going to put this statement here, this final return, just going to cut that and then paste it right in there. So now we've, instead of using multiple if statements, we have the if, and then we have the else if, and then we have the else. When you're using else if statements, order is very important. Let's look at this example here. In this function, first we check if the value is less than 10 and return less than 10. Then else if we check if the value is less than 5 and return less than 5. Well, if we look at this example and we pass in the number 7, if I run this, you'll see it's going to say less than 10, which is what we want. However, if we put 3, it's still just going to say less than 10. Really, we want this to say less than 5 because it is actually less than 5. However, this is in the wrong order. So what we need to do is change the order. So this should be 5, this should be 5, and this should be 10. And this should be 10. So once the first condition is met, it doesn't even check for the rest of the conditions. So that's why it's important to think about the order. So if we run this now, yep, less than 5. That's what we want. You can also chain if and else if statements. So I'm going to complete the following challenge here. Write chained if slash else if statements to fulfill the following conditions. So we have these conditions where if the number is less than 5, we're going to return tiny. If it's less than 10, return small, and so on. So what I'm going to do is actually just copy this right here, because this is written, part of it's written exactly how we want it to be written. I'll just paste it here, and I'm going to just add the if and else statements. So it's going to be if, and then we put this in parentheses because the condition is always in parentheses. If number is less than 5, then we're going to use the curly braces, and we're going to return tiny. So I'll just move that up here. I'll cut it and paste it. Now we're going to use an else if statement. And I got the curly braces. First of all, also I need to put the condition in these parentheses. I'm just going to cut this. Number is less than 10, put it right here, and we're going to return this small. So I'll put that in the curly braces here. And then we have another else if statement. Else if, and the condition, just like before, number is less than 15. Put that in there. We always need the curly braces to show what's going to happen in the if statement. So I'm just cutting and pasting this text again. We have an else if, and then we have this here. Then we have return large. Actually, the final thing is just going to be else. We don't even need an else if at the statement at the end. We don't even need to put the condition, because if it's more than or equal to 20, that's going to be everything else. So I'm just going to cut this. We don't need any of this stuff here. And we're just going to return large. So with this one test here, for test 7, we can actually console.log that. Console.log. And see what it returns for 7. We can try a few different things. Oh, we have an error here. Oh, forgot to put this parentheses wrong way. Let's try that again. Small, but if this is 20, it should be huge. And if it's 19, which would be less than 20, we should see large. Yep, that works.